But to me, you know what he sounds like? He really thinks he's like that Dom Toretto character, Vin Diesel in the Fast and the Furious, preaching it's all about family. He's a transformational leader. But you know what he actually is? He's a mega church preacher. Yeah. It's like the Righteous Gemstones if you've ever seen it. Yeah. He'll preach about anything to win and anything to make money.
After planning for a calm and quiet topic this week, we quickly pivoted after doing a double take regarding John Calipari's comments at SEC Media Days. You'll have to hear it to believe it.
It's unbelievable. I mean, hey, look, when I first saw this, I laughed.
That's all you could do.
And just said, you know what? Coaches will say anything.
We'll then turn to a topic near and dear to Barca's heart, MLS, where we think that their PR efforts are not leading to a great end to their season. From a brazen and brainless use of AI.
We're not even going to double-check the stories for accuracy. But yes, they noted this at the bottom of their recaps. Is it laziness, or does the league just give 0 Fs?
To angering media members because of their lack of access. That's kind of my take on the whole thing. You just have to allow them to do their job. It just seems like right now MLS is not allowing them to do their job. We've got you covered this week on those topics and more on the 25th episode of No Longer Credentialed.
Hey, you know what? Maybe we need to go through this brand rejuvenation.
Yeah, we need it. We need it. Maybe I'll just take a picture of my cat and we'll just put it as our our podcast thumbnail.
Yeah, the thumbnail. Yeah.
This is the true story of two washed-up sports guys who chased the dream, private flights, championship rings, running sideline to sideline on per diem and adrenaline.
We gave our 20s and our 30s to the industry, pulled off miracles that were never in the job description. In return, low pay, long hours, and we still got cut from the team.
This is about what really happens behind the badge. The burnout, the bad bosses, the dream job that didn't love you back, but also the lifelong friendships, the chaos, the holy shit stories you couldn't make up. And somehow, despite everything, you'd still do parts of it all over again.
This is one for the ones who lived it, loved it, hated it, and still kind of miss it. For everyone who's ever asked, how in the hell did we survive that? We're two former sports insiders with more than 40 years of experience and more than enough scars to make fun of it all.
And just enough trauma to start a podcast instead of going to therapy.
I'm Brandon Barca.
And I'm Andy Boggs.
And this is No Longer Credentialed. We once had access, now we have opinions. Boggsy, we are back, and it's our 25th episode of No Longer Credentialed. They call this one the Silver Jubilee. Congratulations, but
yeah,
let's not pop the champagne just yet, Boggsy. For today's main segment, we're going to go around the horn and give our takes to some of the current headlines in the sports industry. And you're going to love this one. Our first stop, SEC Basketball Media Days with Arkansas coach John Calipari making headlines. You miss SEC Media Days, right?
I really, really do.
Lots of great content there.
Yeah.
Calipari made the headlines saying he'll retire before becoming, and I quote, a transactional coach. Oh, gosh.
Man.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes these coaches say anything and they believe it. So
no, there's no doubt.
Sure, the game has changed with NIL and the transfer portal. And Coach Cal wants us to believe he will be done basking in the spotlight when he can no longer build genuine relationships with players. Let's go ahead and just play the quote, Boggs.
Well, I want to help 25 to 30 more families. The only way you do that is you're transformational as a coach. You're not transactional. If I become transactional, I'm going to pay you this to do this and that, then I won't do this anymore. I don't need to.
Yes, John Calipari, Coach Cal, the voice of reason in college basketball, the king of the one-and-done era. The irony of this quote is off the charts, and great timing after we examined the absolute power of coaches in our last episode. I'm going to unplug my mic and let you sound off. Boggsy explosion in T-minus 10, 9,
Oh, man.
8.
We had a topic for today that was going to be kind of calm and somewhat like educational.
We did.
And then we read this, and it's like, this is the content that just keeps on giving. I mean, really. So the question, has there been a more transactional figure, and I'm saying anyone in college sports, than John Calipari in the last 30 years? Someone who has had 2, not 1, but 2 Final Four appearances wiped from the record books because of transactions, illegal ones. While at UMass, his star player Marcus Camby admitted to receiving gifts and money from agents before and during his junior season at UMass. Cal denied it all and was never directly implicated, but using agents to pay players was the way things were done in the olden days. It moved to shoe companies later. Shoe companies would pay kids to attend shoe-sponsored universities and sign endorsement deals with the company once they turned professional. Coaches like Cal just figured out new ways to funnel money to players. There was also some academic things going on at UMass. The Boston Globe in the mid-'90s found that UMass's most prominent stars, including Camby, were on academic probation, a fact not shared with the general public. Cal battled to ensure that his sports department, rather than the university's academic arm, maintained control of player academics. That sounds pretty transactional to me for him and his program. While the scandal was unfolding, Cal bolted and then signed a $15 million contract with the New Jersey Nets. And Barca, this is the kicker. In all, Cal has made over $120 million in his coaching career.
It's not about the money. It's not about
the money, no. Not transactional.
It's about the
Fast
family.
forward to Memphis, where he had someone take D. Rose's SAT for him. He paid money to D. Rose's brother to travel with the team. Memphis then went on probation for 3 years. He bolted to Kentucky. And there weren't any documented violations at Kentucky, but Kentucky is one of Nike's top brands. And as we learned from the 2017 FBI college basketball recruiting scandal, that's the way money was funneled to kids and their families. No Cal improprieties documented, but you can be sure he benefited from Nike money being handed over to his top recruits to be walking billboards for a shoe company. So now that kids can get paid legally and transfer where they want to without penalty, it's now transactional for him? It wasn't transactional when he paid Camby with money and gifts through agents, or when he took D. Rose's SAT test, or was a darling with Nike and helped them land some of their biggest future stars? Barca, I have a question for people sitting in that room when he said that at SEC Media Day. What did you do when you heard that? Was he joking? Did you laugh? Listen, Cal was and is doing right by the families he's helping. He's a great coach. He's won a lot of games. And in all accounts that I've heard, he's a pretty decent guy. But don't let all of this fool you. Cal is in this for Cal. He likes the adoration and control of being a college coach. If he helps families along the way, great. I'm going to say this, though. There were a lot of transactions ongoing under the table prior to NIL. I'm also going to say that although there was some rule breaking, some of these coaches felt like it was their duty to help families no matter the consequences. That is honorable. It's against the rules, but that is a lens to look through when making judgments about some of these coaches. Even with NIL, there are going to be programs stretching the rules, and you can bet Cal will be on the forefront of that. Barca, this thing drove me nuts. How can he say with a straight face that it's now transactional? It's always been transactional with him. Always, always, always. He's had 2 Final Fours taken away because of it. And, hey, we've been at these media days, too. And they're long days. I don't know when Cal went. I don't know if he was first, if he was late in the day. And, media members are in a coma because they've sat there through all this coach speak for I don't know how long. I mean, we would go for 2 hours and we would be tired. We'd be in and out. 2 hours, but we're like, let's get out of here. There's people have to be there all day. But how can people take this seriously? How could you look at this guy like, dude, what are you saying right now? I don't know. What's your take on all this?
It's unbelievable. I mean, hey, look, when I first saw this, I laughed.
That's all you could do.
And just said, you know what? Coaches will say anything.
They really will.
Say anything. And you think back, I mean, gosh, thinking about the entire conference, how many rumors used to swirl about bagmen during the days before NIL. And I don't know, it sounds sometimes these coaches are just really adamant about wanting to fix the rules or change it back. And I get it at the core. He thinks he's trying to send a message about cleaning up college basketball, not only for now, but the future for his kid that's a coach.
Yeah.
But he can mask his intentions and say that it's for the betterment of the sport and the future of the sport. But we're not dumb.
No.
We know the history, everything that you laid out. He obviously has his own self-interests as numero uno in his mind.
Yep.
Does he really believe what he's saying? I don't know. You hear yourself talk enough, you'll believe anything. But no way he leaves coaching based on transactional relationship.
Unbelievable. I just can't even imagine that can come out of his mouth.
He has always used the media to amplify his agenda. He's smart about it. He's slick about it. He's one of the best about it.
Yes.
It makes him look good in recruiting. He thinks that people care. And he probably does in some cases about his players and so on. So this is very calculated what he's saying. But to me, you know what he sounds like? He really thinks he's like that Dom Toretto character, Vin Diesel in the Fast and the Furious, preaching it's all about family. He's a transformational leader. But you know what he actually is? He's a megachurch preacher. Yeah. It's like the Righteous Gemstones if you've ever seen it.
Yeah.
He'll preach about anything to win and anything to make money.
Yeah.
You really think it's about the kids?
I think it starts to be about the kids when you first start in the business, but once you kind of taste that power and you taste the winning, you're going to do anything you can to do it, and you're going to say anything you can to make sure that keeps happening. It's just that feeling you just get addicted to. So let's talk about this for a second. Then we started chatting offline about our top transactional figures in college sports. And I just said in the last 30 years.
You got a list?
I have a list
I love this.
of a few. So Cal is number one on my list.
Shocker.
He just is. I mean, no one has 2 Final Fours taken away. I'm sorry. I don't think anybody has in the history of the NCAA. So he's number one. Number 2 is Pitino. I mean, dude hired prostitutes for his kids. He funneled $100,000 to a recruit's family, and those were just the instances of when he got caught. I mean, he's up there.
Hey, both you're number 1 and number 2. I'm part Italian, man. Those are my paisans.
I know, right? They're right there. Number 3 for me is Will Wade, because he's kind of was in my wheelhouse a little bit when he was at LSU. I kind of have a soft spot for him. I don't know why. I think because I think he's such a good basketball coach, but I think he legitimately I think his kids loved him when he played. The kids loved playing for him. And I think he really wanted to help those kids and their families. Maybe I'm just drinking the Will Wade Kool-Aid. But, he's making strong-ass offers to recruits. I mean, he knows he's got to do this to get players. And the fourth one that I have is Pete Carroll. And people forget about him when he was at USC. I mean, he had the Reggie Bush scandal, but he also had celebrities everywhere around that program. The NCAA determined that Reggie Bush and his family received cash, a home, and other extravagant gifts from agents who were trying to sign him. So I had to put Pete Carroll in there. But one thing that I kind of noticed too, when you look at some of the football stuff, a lot of it, when you think about scandals, it's all around the players and not the coaches. When you think about what happened there, it's the Reggie Bush scandal. It's Cam Newton. It's the players to get talked about and not the coaches, boosters, and whoever that actually started all of it. I don't know. Do you have any names for the list?
It's a dirty game out there, Boggsy. We all know this.
It's so dirty.
We all know this.
It's so dirty. And it's even dirtier when you have guys like Cal talking that he's this holier than thou. He's not going to be transactional. Like, dude, you've got to be kidding me.
You left a couple names off the list. I'm going to
Yeah.
throw some at you to reconsider. Maybe they'll jump in there. Any of these names stand out? Bruce Pearl, who's been in the news. Although I will say, him getting that show and cause for that cookout with the player that went to Ohio State, that was sort of transformational leadership.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come over for a cookout. Let's hang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some more names.
Yeah.
Dan Mullen, one of my favorites in the business.
Yeah.
Jim Tressel.
Yep.
He had some big
Tattoo
ones.
Gate.
Jim Harbaugh.
Ooh.
Probably not coaching in college again.
I should have probably put him up. Probably him instead of Pete Carroll. Man, that guy.
Urban Meyer. He's sort of on the Patino end of things.
Yep. Yep.
And all of our favorites, the guy who doesn't need NIL. He only needs Jesus.
Yep.
Dabo Sweeney.
Oh, man.
Some of these are maybe more fake transformational and maybe not as much transactional, but I had to give you these names.
Yeah, those are really good ones. The Harbaugh and Bruce Pearl and Urban Meyer. Actually, all of them. They're all up there.
Well, one thing you can say about all of these names on the list, they're all winners.
They really are.
I mean, hat tip, right? Some got caught, some didn't. Allegations will always be out there.
Yep.
Maybe some won the right way. We'll let you decide.
We just had to put this in here because if that's not the pot calling the kettle black, I really don't know what is.
These coaches are really, we've talked about it in the last episode, some of these are just signs that maybe they're afraid of losing some control and power. And you mentioned a little bit of it. And maybe they can't be the same dictators of the sport that they once were, as we've seen with the transfer portal and some of these other things where they're losing some control. And so, again, maybe some of them want to go back to the good old days. Some of them have the best interest of the game. Some things could be cleaned up. But I don't know. When he's talking at the podium, I'm not buying what he's selling.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. It's about Cal. And it's about getting players there to win games. And if that has to be transactional, it's got to be transactional. For him to talk about that now, it's just because players have a little bit of power now. I think it throws all these dudes off. And especially the older ones. You know, Cal was kingmaker for a long, long, long time. And now he's having to kind of readjust his kingmaker status. I saw something today. Let's do the over-under on what do you think Kentucky basketball is paying their roster this year. Do you have a number? Or have you seen a number?
I tell you what, these are the first college basketball headlines I've seen all year. This Calipari on the front page of ESPN. I would say possibly in the, depending on the place, maybe 10, 15, 20 million range.
It's 22 million for Kentucky is their roster. What it's according to the Herald Leader today.
Wow.
And so Cal's balancing all that now too. He's, I don't want to insinuate that he was breaking rules.
Hey, he went from the Blue Mist to now he's calling the Hogs.
Calling the Hogs. Man, oh man.
For those of you listening at home that might be a little bit younger, I mean, how I first remember Coach Cal back at his UMass days, like you said, back with Camby and everybody, was just that infamous press conference that, go ahead and look it up on YouTube, a confrontation where Temple head coach John Chaney, legendary coach, and Calipari was this young, brash coach, and Chaney interrupted his presser and threatened to kick Coach Cal's ass. It's one of the most wild post-game pressers you will ever see. Look it up.
Great. So great. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he saw the writing on the wall then, too, that here's this guy doing anything and everything to win. And Chaney was kind of a by-the-book, guy. He was a great basketball coach. I think he really had players' interests at heart. He would go get kids from the inner city and Philly and other places, and they would win. But they were hard-nosed. They played a amoeba zone defense. Remember that? Like, he was kind of ahead of his time on some tactical things. And then you have this young kid come in and just upset the apple cart with the way he recruits and hides academic scandals and things like that.
Hey, UMass making the Final Four back in the day, Tons of red flags went up.
Yeah. Yeah. He had some good players. And again, like, I don't want to discount the fact that dude can coach. He can coach.
No doubt.
And I think his offense is a little bit antiquated right now, but if he has a really good point guard, you can't stop the stuff that he would do. I mean, John Wall and D Rose and who am I missing from those Kentucky teams? I mean,
Rondo. Saul Smith.
Saul.
That was actually under Tubby. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, he had dudes that could play, and if he gets the right guys in there, his style is really hard to guard against. So not taking anything away from his coaching prowess, but he did a lot to get players in there.
Hey, he's a winner. No matter where he goes, he wins.
Yep.
He's a elite unicorn of a coach. So
yep.
He does a lot of things right, but transactional. What a headline.
I can't even.
All right. We got to move on to topic number 2. We're going on to Major League Soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Bogsy, that's a league near and dear to my heart. You know this. And AI, Bogsy, is going to love this topic.
Oh, yeah.
It lines up with another one of our recent shows. MLS recently did a trial run of using AI to write match recaps on its league websites. And you know what they're not doing, Bogsy?
Let me guess. Not using humans.
No humans at all.
Yeah.
We're not even going to double check the stories for accuracy. But yes, they noted this at the bottom of their recaps. Is it laziness or does the league just give 0 Fs? Senior writer Tom Bogert, who just returned to The Athletic, weighed in on Twitter. He said, "This sucks a lot. I know from my own experience doing it, it is not expensive to pay humans to do this. I got invaluable development working there, as did countless others." Bogert posted that he reached out to the league office, and MLS responded saying that they'd been testing the use of AI recaps and felt it was important to be transparent in denoting it was AI in the recap at the bottom. The spokesperson from MLS also said AI recaps are being evaluated for the future.
Of course.
God, I love PR spin on those types of statements.
That's great.
Bogert mentioned in the tweet, and granted, this was probably also info that was fed to him from MLS PR, that ESPN, the US Open, and other sports have used AI in recaps, as well as MLB and NBA have created AI content. So it's not just an MLS thing. Can we calm it down a little bit, is what MLS is saying?
Yeah.
Like any person that gets paid to write, Bogert does not agree to any of this and where this is going. I'm a little conflicted on this one, though.
Yeah.
We've got writers deep in their fields, getting up in arms over robots and content that doesn't move the needle in the first place. But on the flip side, we have a league office that lost their credibility a long, long time ago. So inept, it makes it hard to support any decision they make, including a trial run of AI recaps. So I'm really torn on this, Boggs. Want to hear you weigh in, get your thoughts.
So why couldn't they have had somebody in the league office, just instead of having 10 people write recaps, you have one, and the guy could, or girl or person in the league office could just look at what AI generated and fix it. Or, like we've talked about before, why don't you feed the brain some AP recaps or some Premier League recaps or recaps that you agree with to train the brain to write a recap? Like, why does it have to be this stupid? It doesn't have to look this way. You could make it look better. Just have one human. Instead of having 10, have one.
It's easy. It's easy to do.
It's easy. And, I mean, I'm for AI writing recaps. I think they're kind of a nothing burger, especially for athletic departments who are really short-staffed and need to be, focusing their efforts on other things. But this is just being really lazy. I mean, you're trying to tell me a PR person with MLS couldn't say, "Hey, listen, why are we putting this product out? This just makes us look bad." Yeah, so maybe the leagues are using they're using AI, but they're also using it with a human brain attached, it seems like. I don't know how much is written by AI and what's not. If I'm looking at Yahoo Sports or ESPN.com or whoever, but it makes no sense why you don't have somebody just looking after it.
It's obviously a league office that's understaffed.
Yeah,
I will say that. And previously, the way I understand it is that the league used to just pay stringers X amount of dollars per game, and that would be covering recaps. I've got some advice for you, MLS. Let me just handle your PR right here. Let's just call this like it is. Just say nobody reads this shit.
Yeah.
Which is why you've enlisted the robots.
Yeah.
You're cheap, very cheap, and you don't want to pay for a service that doesn't drive clicks. I'd really have more respect on a PR end if they just said that up front. You know what? Thanks for your question, but this doesn't move the needle.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense what they're doing here. I mean, it does with someone doesn't know what they're doing. But nobody, I mean, you could look at like the smallest college athletic department. You probably go to a D3 website. They're not saying this recap was generated by AI. It's like an excuse to be terrible. And why is MLS doing it? I mean, Messi plays in this league. You have some
Messi owns the league.
He owns the league. You have a lot of players that are really, really good. And you're just pooping on them with these terrible recaps. It's just a bad look for the league. That's just all it is.
Hey, look, to your point, I'm like, if this is the version of the AI recap you're going to do, just get rid of it. Just do the box score and show the 4-minute, 5-minute highlight reel. I can get a good sense of what happened in the game, because right now it's just taking the game tracker or notes and just compiling it in chronological order. I'm going to read this here in a minute.
Yeah. It's so funny.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But the human voice, okay, I understand you can have 14, 15 matches going on a Wednesday or a Saturday. It's a lot. It's a lot to staff and cover.
Yeah.
But if I'm using my own human voice to dictate on AI, maybe 3 to 4 of main things that happen in each match. You're using your AI prompt card with other versions of recaps or the system that you've set up for the style, something to inject human voice. I can watch the highlights, the 5-clip highlights, and be like, man, Inter Miami dominated this game from the start, 4-0. Messi scored 2 goals and assisted on another. X, Y, and Z happened. Boom. Record that voice into AI. Show them the template you want, and it's there, and you've got a little bit of a human element to it. I get the debate. I mean, I get the debate on both sides. We're seeing this now in the acting world as well. There's a place for robots, and you don't want them to start taking jobs. And when you start seeing people not being paid for these game night recaps,
yeah,
it can become an issue, because if you don't speak up now, when does it get out of hand?
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of Hollywood, well, I was just actually talking to my son about this the other day. He's a huge Muppets fan, right? And, I mean, what if they could take Jim Henson's voice and AI generate it, and they could just make more Muppet movies? Society needs more Muppet movies.
We do.
And so why not let's just make it easier to make Muppet movies? And so I'm for the AI bots when it comes to generating. I mean, the guy who does Kermit now is great. He's awesome. But he's not Jim Henson. And if we could have Jim Henson doing Kermit the Frog and all the other characters he would do, I mean, I'd kind of be for that.
Ooh, man.
Is that me? That's just me being like totally anti.
Yeah. You're going to be upsetting the Jim Henson estate here.
Yeah. Well, heck, maybe they'll pay him more. Maybe he's part of the AI generation of his voice. Can you imagine walking into a movie theater and you see the latest and greatest technology with film, and there's Jim Henson doing Kermit the Frog? Dude, sign me up for that.
Hey, once
100%.
we saw the Tupac hologram at a concert about 10 years ago, these people are coming back from the dead. And but we talked about this on the AI episode. Like, you can recreate the voice or the rhythm or the tone or the visual, but it still takes the talent to cover a team and recap a game and do all of those sorts of things, whether you're a journalist or a filmmaker or a writer. These game recaps are such a nothing burger on their website.
Yeah.
As far as what they are to begin with. So I think MLS has a point. But again, I would just be straight up and say, this doesn't drive engagement. This doesn't move the needle. We're cheap and we don't have staff. But, MLS also on their website, they have a lot of national writers and voices that cover their content. So do they need the game-to-game recap? Maybe from an archival purpose, depending on what they're doing. You've mentioned that before. But I'm guessing writers are just more up in arms about just the idea of AI and it taking jobs, which I get.
Yeah.
But for this one, I'm like, if I'm sitting in the chair, the executive chair, I'm like, do we really need to be spending X amount of money on this?
Yeah. Let's think about this for a second, though. Maybe they're just looking for any type of PR because you can't watch their games. No one's paying attention to MLS right now. Really? Aren't they getting to playoff time soon? Isn't that coming up?
Yeah, decision day is coming up. By the time this podcast runs, it will have already played this.
Right, so no one cares. Like, I don't watch MLS. It's behind a paywall on Apple TV. I don't watch it. And so maybe they're just trying to find ways for people to talk about MLS. Here we are talking about MLS because of the stupid shit they're doing.
Don't give this league office credit, Box.
I know, right?
Please don't.
They're not to that level.
They're not.
But, at the end of the day, they brought some negative PR onto their league by doing this. And what's the point, right? Unless you just want eyeballs. Maybe they just want eyeballs. I don't know.
So is the league going to bend the knee? That's what I want to see.
Bend the knee to who?
Bend the knee to these writers complaining about the AI recaps.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
I think they will.
Let's let our audience decide if they like this MLS recap that was generated.
Yep.
And let me tell you, you won't believe this shit. I mean, there's AI slop, and this is up there with the best of them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have fun with this. I used to do this in the office back in the day. People on listening are going to be like, what the hell is he doing? I'm going to use like my thespian voice for this recap. Let's make this exciting.
Yeah.
Saturday, October 11th, 2025 at 8:34 p.m., created by MLS Generative AI. Inter Miami CF defeated Atlanta United 4-0 on Saturday at Chase Stadium in MLS regular season 2025 action. I'm loving this already. With Lionel Messi scoring twice and providing an assist. The match began with intense pressure from both sides. Luis Suarez had an early shot blocked in the second minute. With Dominic Chonky forced a save in the 8th minute for Atlanta.
So they're just taking the play-by-play and just doing this, right? Isn't that what they're doing?
It's what you see in the stat tracker, right? It just tells you a lot of times the location of the shot, if it was blocked, saved, whatever.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with the outcome of the game.
Not yet, but they think this is intense pressure right here from both sides. Inter Miami responded with multiple attempts, including saved shots from Tadeo Allende in the 11th minute and Messi in the 13th and 21st minutes. Dude, this is exhilarating, thrilling stuff.
Yeah.
This is why I follow MLS matches.
Yeah.
The breakthrough came in the 39th minute. We got a goal, people. When Messi finished from the right side of the box. That's a stat tracker.
Yeah.
Assisted by Baltasar Rodriguez. Luis Suarez, I also do like how they're doing full names basically over and over and over again. Love it, non-AP style. Luis Suarez nearly doubled the lead in the 45th minute, hitting the crossbar from the center of the box. Okay, this graph right here, not too bad, a little descriptive, but as Dieter and his sprockets once said, this AI story has become tiresome. So let's just move a couple graphs and go to the end before we bore people. Here we go, the grand finale. Messi sealed the victory in the 87th minute, converting from the center of the box with an assist from Jordi Alba to complete the comprehensive win. You know what, Boggsy? What's not a comprehensive win? This recap.
Yeah.
And this isn't over yet. At the bottom, italicized. Bless their souls for putting this in there. This story was automatically generated based on match data. Content has not been reviewed by editorial staff. Thank you for reading. Please share feedback on your experience linked here.
Gosh.
I wish I could see just a catalog of the responses of people that have submitted things after Bogert and other national media put this out there.
Man, that's pretty brutal. It's really brutal. But, again, if you had a human looking at that, fix it.
Human touch. Simple.
Fix it. Fix
5
it.
minutes.
Not hard.
5 minutes.
Less
five
than 5
minutes.
minutes. Maybe they just want the publicity no matter how you get it. We're talking about it, so...
Sponsored by.
We'd like to thank our newest sponsor, the 5 a.m. Breakdown. Looking for a gift this holiday season? Get the only wake-up system that supports your 24/7 nightmare. Set to your coach's voice, the alarm doesn't just wake you up. It motivates you, belittles you, and makes you run imaginary suicides until you get your tired ass out of bed. Choose from a variety of coaching styles and sounds. The yeller, "You call that effort, Barca?" The disappointed dad, "Guess I was wrong about you, champ." And the passive-aggressive whiner, "But hey, sleep in, take a day off. The rest of us will be out here giving 110%. Because nothing says rise and grind like being emotionally manipulated before sunrise. The 5 a.m. Breakdown, wake up or get benched. Boggs, have you ever had a coach curse you out? Because I have many times.
Yeah, I think I have, actually. There's no doubt about it.
In those situations, you just clam up and you're like, should I say what I want to say, or do I just let it go? And you just take it over and over and over again.
Yeah. No Longer Credentialed is also brought to you by Golden Image. When you jet set across 3 time zones all week just to look humble, you deserve a brand that matches your hustle. Just look at our biggest client, your favorite humble football commentator. He travels on private jets from Eugene to Dallas between shows, heroically hurdling sleep, collecting miles, and insisting it's all for the love of the game. And we'd never let him travel alone. That's why we paired him with an emotional support dog turned content machine. Because when you're spending millions on jet fuel, you need a brand that can make you look grounded. Golden Image, because it's not enough to be seen. You have to be seen everywhere with your dog. On the jet, on the set, in the press box, and on the field. Dude, we could have 2 shows about the ludicrousness of that whole situation. But
I don't know. You said you're a dog lover. Your cat.
I love
your
the dogs.
Cat fetches, and you love dogs.
It's great. But I'll just leave it at there's a lot of probably dog people out there that'll get upset they may be upset with that ad. But,
a lot of people unsubscribing right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to go through this brand rejuvenation.
Yeah, we need it. We need it. Maybe I'll just take a picture of my cat and we'll just put it as our our podcast thumbnail.
Yeah, the thumbnail. Yeah. I used to have a golden retriever.
You did. He was
wonderful.
She was
for
awesome. Awesome.
Wonderful. Jelly bean. Wonderful for the personal brand.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe we just get a golden retriever.
Hey, look, we're just going to leave this commercial at that, and you guys kind of put it all together.
About it. Man.
Sports.
All right, Boggsy, for our final topic today, we're going to stay in Major League Soccer. Man, they're just in the news lately.
Yep.
And this one's right up your alley. Laurel Pfahler, an independent journalist for Queen City Press, covering FC Cincinnati, among other Queen City teams, wrote an open letter in the past week to MLS Commissioner Don Garber. And it hits on a very important topic for anybody working in sports media, the lack of access to players. In her letter to Garber, she asks, is it even worth it anymore to cover MLS in person as a journalist? She lays out how the league's tightened media rules are making it harder for reporters like her to tell actual stories. Failer argues that post-game locker room access should be restored in markets that aren't following the league policy. She also suggests creating a mixed zone after training for interviews where media can talk to players as they come off the field, so everything doesn't feel like those same old recycled presser quotes that we love. She points out that other leagues like the NFL give reporters regular access and open locker rooms to help drive consistent coverage. It's a fair point, which is simply, if MLS wants to continue to grow, it can't keep shutting out the people who help tell its story. She concludes her letter to the league saying, and I quote, "Good or bad, the stories need to be told. Sports teams benefit simply from being talked about. Sometimes the news is uplifting. Sometimes the news is depressing. Reporters do not control wins and losses. We try to call balls and strikes. Unfortunately, in MLS, relative to other sports, there are few umpires, and it's the fans who suffer the most." Bogsy, man, we know this battle all too well. The media, they want more access, more access, more access. And the team wants to control the message. Having once been on the dark side, which side are you on in this debate?
Well, first off, MLS restricting access is just so stupid, especially for a product that nobody watches, like I mentioned before, and it's parked behind a paywall on Apple TV. I would think you'd want as many reporters as you could get to a game. And then she mentioned in the letter, too, like, why do I spend all this money to go on the road and cover a team when I don't get any access to players? And I think that's a big one. I kind of have a story. I don't know if I've told it before, but so back in one of my previous jobs, we went on the road, and our beat writer came on the road with us, and we got our tails kicked in. And after the game, our coach was like, "I'm not talking. Like, I'm not talking to this guy. Like, I'm so pissed. I don't want to talk." So I come out and tell him, like, "Hey, man, just hate to do this, but he's already on the bus. Like, he's not talking at all." And the next morning in the paper, the first sentence of his recap was, this was back when people read the paper, coach was not available after the loss. He made some comment about it, like not an editorial, but made a comment kind of taking a dig at us about that. And it never happened again. You have to kind of take what these guys are doing to come to support their enterprise, to come to the game. It takes money, so you got to give them access. You got to give them something. That's kind of my take on the whole thing. You just have to allow them to do their job. And it just seems like right now MLS is not allowing them to do their job. Now, for us, I was in college. We had very, very narrow windows for players to talk and coaches to talk. It was either before practice or after practice. Sometimes our coaches would, make calls into local TV stations or, talk to a local paper that, maybe a hometown paper, one of our players. They would do that during the day, but that was kind of rare. In pro sports, they have all the time in the world. And I will kind of agree with her on the NFL. I think the NFL, they allow so much access. It's probably not the kind of access that a lot of them would want, but they still have access 3 days a week, 4 days a week. And that's probably a reason why they get so much coverage and why they're talked about all the time, and their ratings are through the roof. And I mean, it definitely contributes to it. So I do understand that part. But then it's also the media just bitching about this. They've always bitched about this. They're the first ones to do a tweet when they shouldn't tweet, or the first ones to say something when they shouldn't say something. And you can have all the guardrails in the world. One of them's going to put a formation in there that you don't want them to see, or a trick play that you're working on, or something like that. And so there you have that part too. But I'm generally for open. The more open you can be with people, the better. And then if they cross the line, then you say, "Hey, listen, you get 3 strikes. You're on strike 2. And I don't know, you just have to build relationships with these people and they understand what they're supposed to do and what they're not. You think they're hiding against bad news or injury? Like what are we hiding behind?
There's a couple points I want to make.
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm just going to call it like I see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I understand both sides of it. But I think from the club end, when we're talking about an MLS, I've seen some clubs more focused in the comms area on restricting media access than actually telling their story. I feel like it's a fair point. But the question is why?
Yeah.
I think part of it, hey, look, you can push back on this Bogsy and say I'm an asshole. You've worked in this world for a long time. And I think part of it comes from comm staff who see themselves as the gatekeepers, policing every interaction like they're Barney Fife, you know? But I think it goes back to being a bigger story is that pitching stories has become a lost art and building those relationships with media. I mean, it's non-existent today from what it once was. And comms departments, in my opinion, have shifted from being proactive storytellers and working with media to being reactive administrators.
Right.
Deciding
and content generators and internal content generators.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
Yeah.
You know, they're just sitting there waiting for the request to come in and deciding what to grant, what to deny, which stories make sense based on what they can get approved from up above with their coaches and GM. To Laurel's point, this mindset hurts a league like MLS. The league has expanded, gosh, maybe close to 10 different franchises over the last decade.
Yep.
You've got all of these young, vibrant, energetic markets trying to grow the fan bases. Not to mention, the World Cup's coming back to the States for the first time since 1994 when the league got created because of it right after it.
Yep.
It's going to be massive for the sport. So again, the job should be about getting the story out, not keeping it in. I've seen too many times comms teams take pride in shutting out independent bloggers or fan media. People that are often may not be polished journalists, but they're very connected to the local audience and the fans. And for what? Because a coach might get an uncomfortable question? But I do get it. And the flip side of it, comm staffers know their jobs can hinge on whether the coach or GM likes the job they're doing. It's that plain and simple. Poor coverage or just perceived poor coverage can cost you your job as a comms expert or a comms specialist.
Yep.
And that leads back to the deeper issue. Too many coaches and executives want total control over the message. They don't want the scrutiny. They want the silence.
Yeah.
They only want to hear from the people that are rowing the boat with them.
Yep.
And that really does put comm staffers in a no-win situation, caught between protecting access and protecting themselves.
For some reason, Derek Jeter came to mind because I think when he was answering questions, he would never answer the question ever. He would always downplay everything and never give anybody any answers. And I think that's the way GMs and presidents, that's what they want. They would rather have no coverage or someone just saying a bunch of gobbledygook just to get people out of their faces.
They don't want noise.
They don't want noise. Yeah, it's a tough place to be in. But you also have to think, like we've said before, you got to build it. And one of the ways to build it is to let people in. And I just don't think it's a winning strategy. What kind of crowds do they draw at Cincinnati? They're probably pretty good. That's a great little stadium they have there, right? I mean,
they're typically top 5 in attendance versus capacity.
So these guys may be like, hey, listen, we're selling tickets. I don't really care if you have media come or not. You know, we're selling our tickets. We're getting our money from Apple. How much more money can we make? We could always make more, but we're kind of doing what we can do, and this is just something we're just not going to push for. I could see that. It's not the right way. I could see it.
Hey, let's go further with this. I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Sure.
Because I like to look at both sides of the story. I mean, we did it with the recaps. It's like, you know what? Maybe AI makes sense because this isn't driving traffic.
Yep.
The same thing here, I think it's interesting to dissect. You know, Andy Mack sort of mentioned this a little bit too when he talked about what it was like his first Saturday after leaving Oregon and what really mattered. So I bring you this thought, whether you agree or not. Outside of the hardcore supporters do MLS fans really care about the stats and the stories of their players outside of the hardcore supporters? I could debate that MLS as a league is actually a little bit closer to minor league baseball in a sense than it is to the NFL. Stay with me with this.
Yeah.
People come to the matches for the awesome environment and experience, like minor league baseball. Some of those fans may follow the standings, see where the team, how they're doing, see what their record is. But how many of them could name the starting 11? Why is that? Is it because just the league is newer and a lot of these vibrant markets it's expanded into? Maybe it's because, just like minor league baseball, MLS's product isn't the best in the world for that sport.
Yeah.
You don't have the best players. Hey, look, sure, the play has really gotten better over the years, but it's nowhere near, or at least for now, or this generation, going to touch a Premier League or some of those other top leagues. So you don't have the best players, but they also have bigger issues. And you touched on that, some of these things, but here are a couple more. The schedule not falling in the international calendar.
Yeah.
Which I'll give them credit. They're exploring that. We'll see if changes happen here in the next year or two. Expanding the number of designated players on rosters to attract more top talent and compete with other leagues. That would help.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, a shitty TV deal with Apple.
Oh my gosh.
That doesn't drive any growth in local markets where we're seeing great attendances for a lot of these new franchises, or even nationally.
Yeah.
They're
That's
out of the
brutal.
news.
That is so brutal. I mean, we live in an MLS market. When they were on over-the-air TV, I would watch them. I'd turn over there. But I don't seek out MLS on a Saturday. Not right now. I won't even do it in... When is their season over? I don't even know. November?
Getting ready for the playoffs. Last week, the regular season just happened.
So, who's seeking out MLS but like the hardcore people? And I just don't think there's a ton of those people out there, and you're not getting any new fans with your media deal. It's awful. But I think one thing it's done, though, it's probably fired a warning shot to other sports leagues thinking they're going to give me more money, but this was probably not the best thing for us to do. MLS took the plunge, and now they're reaping what they sowed there. I mean, it's just not a good deal for expansion of their fan base. It's awful.
It's not good for a league that's still growing in a lot of markets and has shown tremendous growth. And now it's kind of come to a screeching halt as far as TV rights. I understood the original decision. Honestly, how much bargaining leverage did they have with the ESPNs and Foxes for all of the coverage that they were doing? The ratings were minimal. They were bad. I mean, the league would force us to promote other league matches on our accounts every week, or we'd get reprimanded. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
Because the TV contract was coming up. So they have Apple. Coincidentally, the Messi thing happens not too long after. And so they've got this platform that can be watched worldwide, which is an advantage. That's a plus. It can be watched basically all in one place. So there's no confusion. Like if you look at the NFL schedule, think of how many different channels you got to figure out between Thursday, Sunday, Monday.
They can start all the games at the same time, which they do, don't they, for the most part, like in certain time zones? Is that what they do?
They do, but one of the issues, and maybe they've gotten better at this, I got to look, is it became hard as a fan of the league if you were watching your team play, if the games weren't staggered enough on Saturdays or Wednesdays to where if you were a fan of the league, you could watch other teams play.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've resolved that one yet. I mean, they still play mostly on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I think they have like a game of the week on Sundays typically, and some other ones few and far between. But the other thing I'll point out, and I've said this for years, it's non-existent, the marketing that they do for their star players to the masses outside of Messi. Where are the national campaigns or collaborations to promote the faces of the league? The league is getting younger players. A lot of these younger players are now getting bought out for major contracts by Premier League and some of the other top leagues. Why aren't we promoting these faces more instead of just doing these stories within the Apple TV paid platform where you have to go in there? And a lot of that, some of that content's free, but still, like, where are the national marketing campaigns for the league in general? We've got
Yeah.
World Cup coming up. Maybe it's on their radar, but man, I think just locally here in Nashville, we had Walker Zimmerman, played on the U.S. World Cup team last
Yep.
time. We got Hani Mukhtar, who is an MVP. You've got a lot of these faces around the league that could be promoted more nationally.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big problem. Maybe they just are talking to the wrong consulting firms, or maybe they don't want to spend money for how much it costs to do a national campaign, but it's severely lacking. And I don't know, at some point, I think every league, you're trying to connect the faces of the league with the actual league's brand. And I think MLS just does a poor job of it.
Yeah. And then it doesn't help when you don't let media cover what you're doing. I mean, at the end of the day, that needs to be better. You're not solving world peace here. It's not that big of a deal to have media members in your locker room for 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week. It's not. These guys, this is their job. It's not like they're going to class or they've got other things going on. Like, it's not hard to do. I would think the conference office would be all over this, but I guess they're not. I mean, if she's having to write a letter to the commissioner to tell her, or I guess these are in the rules that they're supposed to have these, right? But they just
With the
don't.
player agreement.
They just blow them off. And
Yeah, with the player agreement, she mentions that some schools don't even follow it, but it doesn't sound like the league's been enforcing it.
Right.
And this is not a new issue. And
No.
the league has known about this. Trust me.
Yeah.
You have head coaches and GMs and other people. There's a control issue there, and nobody's going to push back.
Yeah.
Nobody inside within a team or a club is going to push back.
The NFL that's just one thing they have right. It's just I don't know if it's a consistent across all teams. This is what they do. Hey, this is your day for a press conference. This is the day for your open locker room. I would imagine it probably is. I don't know enough about that space to know, but people are talking about the NFL a lot. Their ratings are through the roof, higher than they've ever been. But then on the flip side, like I've thought about open locker rooms in college. Like I had a couple thoughts. Maybe I had discussions with you guys at some point. Like, what if I just open the locker room after a game? Or
You were mandated for those during the NCAA tournament.
you are. You're mandated for those and conference tournaments too. Like it has to be open. You lose in a heartbreaking fashion, those kids are facing the music for 15 or 20 minutes. Now, most of our media members were really good about tough losses and things like that, but they still got access. And I would give access to people, but it would be in a practice setting. And I would never put any of my people off limits. Matter of fact, some of them probably got tired of talking to the same people over and over and over and over again. But like I've mentioned before on podcasts, man, some of these college kids and college coaches and NFL coaches, they talk 3-4 times a week. And for an MLS coach who needs to be out there to not do that, that's a problem. That's going to hurt them.
I used to get it back in the day when in NCAA, like when your student athletes were technically amateurs and college athletes, of trying to protect them more as far as like, don't put them in these situations for open locker rooms, keep it a little more controlled. Made sense.
Yeah.
Now that they're getting paid, I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's a different ball game. But I don't know. I've just seen, like I said, too many times across the league where they're just, people in a comms office are just patrolling things too much.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to pitch stories every week to get out. They're not trying to work with local bloggers or podcasts or radio hosts or whoever, especially the smaller ones. They think in a way that it's beneath them. I get some of it too. There's only, when you're dealing with professional athletes, there's only so many amount of appearances. You got to be smart with how you stagger things so players just don't start saying, I'm not doing anything for you.
Yeah.
And in worst cases, which I've heard before, of star players just completely revolting against the comms person, which when it comes down to it, the president, CEO, and everybody, when that player speaks up, is going to take the side of the star player.
Right.
And will say, you know what, Boggsy, we're done with your services. It's just not working out.
Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in. I don't envy the people in MLS if they're not getting any support from internal support or from the league office, you're just kind of stuck. Again, they're making money on tickets. So at the end of the day, the money's being made.
When the Apple announcement first came out, behind the scenes, it was dictated to us that, Tim Cook and Apple, they don't really care about the subscriptions and stuff for this. They just wanted to have this brand and this league streaming on their network. And the first thing I thought when I heard that through the grapevine was like, oh, really? Let's see. Let's see how much they care.
Right.
And a majority of the games are still behind the pass model.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the right thing. I think if more of the games were free, and they tried experimenting that some from time to time, but for you, from a general fan's perspective, like, you're not going to know when that is. You're not following the day-to-day tweets of one of these clubs. But I go back, like, I always look at things even in college, like, if I was to start a university today, how would I construct this comms department or this league PR or marketing or whatever? And for a league like MLS, I'm thinking, because there were times back in the day we couldn't even get our coaches mic'd up.
Mm-hmm.
MLS should be putting out basically like, we are going to be the most open league of any league. Access, this is what's expected of coaches, this is what's expected of players, and all of these things. And I know some of that gets a little hairy when you get into like collective bargaining agreements and all that stuff with players' unions and stuff. But from the top, I would be preaching that. We want our story out there. We want media covering us. We want bloggers and fanboys and influencers and whoever following us. Not one of these like, well, we're not going to credential this person because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And I get it. I've been in those situations where you have one of these fanboy bloggers and they end up in the presser and they ask a question and coach just kind of tilts their head and like, why the F am I answering this from this slappy? Because they have no journalistic training.
Yep.
But really, like,
It's
we're gonna cry about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna cry about that. Really?
Yeah.
Come on, suck it up, coaches. Suck it up, GMs.
Yeah.
We're trying to grow this sport. Damn it.
Yeah.
We got the freaking World Cup coming.
The World Cup's coming.
Can we not let people have one-on-ones after practice?
Yeah.
Can we not do some open locker room availability? Why does everything have to be so controlled? Put your pistol away and your flashlight, Barney Fife.
Yeah, people kind of get off on being gatekeepers and having that kind of control, and I think that stems to comms people too. I mean, you at the end of the day, you're deciding who's getting in and out of your games and who's coming to press conferences. And I mean, we would have rules. I'm sure we talked about this. We had rules about how many subscribers people had to have, and like, I would change that now. Looking back on it, that's something I would not do, especially if you're at a place that needs coverage.
It's evolved, though. Those spaces have evolved now.
Yeah.
And so comms department should evolve. Time to wrap it up.
And that's another edition of No Longer Credentialed. Thanks to all of you listening, and if you like it, tell a friend and give it a 5-star rating on your podcast app of choice. Don't forget to check us out on social media at NLC Pod on X, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. Until next week, keep grinding.